he's put in the time, the work. He's a productive player. His injury history, he's been out here, doesn't miss much games. He's a game changer.
On Wednesday it was Ben Roethlisberger. Today it was Cam Hayward showing support for teammate TJ Watt. Hi everybody, I'm Missi Matthews. Welcome to the Matchup Show presented by Unibet. We are getting ready for some regular season football. Week 1, Steelers and Bills, 1 o'clock in Buffalo on Sunday. Let me introduce you to my panel for today so we can break everything down for you. My good friend and colleague Bob Labriola from Steelers.com is joining us. We also have Matt Williamson from Steelers Nation Radio. Scouting background, he's going to give us some X's and O's, and former Steelers quarterback and KDK analyst Charlie Batch is here as well. And guys, you heard there from Cam Hayward. As I said, we heard from Ben. Everybody talking about TJ Watt. Coach Tomlin anticipated he would join the team as a full participant this week. He did so on Wednesday. Coach is operating under the assumption he'll be a full go for Sunday in the game. Labs, what do you make of this situation as we are getting closer and closer to kickoff?
Well, it's going to be interesting. I think the Steelers are going to have to manage TJ Watt's snap count. But I also think that he could have a little bit of an advantage over some of the other players in the game because he has fresh legs, and he also has what I would call a fresh body, which means one that hasn't taken any abuse at all over the summer, the training camp process, and the preseason. So those are things in TJ Watt's favor. Some other things about rust. I mean, I just don't know how much rust will be a factor in terms of the position that he plays. It's not like he's an offensive lineman where he's working in tandem with 4 other people. He's not a receiver who has to be in sync with the quarterback. A lot of what TJ Watt has to do is defeat the man in front of him. And so, I don't know that rust will play a really big role for him on Sunday.
All right, we asked for fan questions heading into today's matchup show, and as you guys can imagine, Matt, there were a number of questions involving TJ Watt, and this one is from Pittsburgh Steelers 2021 to 2022 season. They are a fan for life, according to their Twitter handle. Is there a concern in your mind that TJ has missed those live team drills in terms of Sunday?
No, I think he's a very well-prepared, well-conditioned player. This isn't uncommon around the league. Just because he has a contract looming, it gets more attention. But I'm not all that certain that he hasn't done noticeably less than Joe Hayden or Cam Hayward, let alone Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett and other great players around the league. I expect him to be extremely ready and prepared and a difference maker as usual.
All right, Charlie, in terms of just the mindset, when we heard from Cam Hayward this morning here at the UPMC Bruni Sports Complex, he said until he signed his deal last year, it is something that you continue to think about. How do you think that is affecting TJ Watt, maybe the outside the football field mentality?
Well, this is the conversations that he's going to have with all of his players because they want to be aware as far as what's going on. They understand the circumstances that he's dealing with at this particular point. And this is a unique particular holdout. I wouldn't even say holdout, but circumstances because the players have seen him work. And if you watch during the course of training camp, he's worked probably twice as hard working on the side than he was on the field. So I'm not concerned about whether or not the rust can be there. Like Laz mentioned, yes, he essentially has fresh legs at this point. But the one thing that I will mention is the fact that he has not practiced against who that tandem would be, his rush partner on the other side, Alex Highsmith, Melvin Ingram, those type of guys that you look back and say, okay, when you look at someone, you know what they're thinking. Right now, he just doesn't have that chemistry right now. So that's going to be something I'm going to look for throughout the course of the game.
And also Alex Highsmith dealing with an injury this week, so that's also something we're going to have to keep an eye on. The official status report will be released tomorrow on Friday. As I said, a number of fan questions came in this morning, a lot about TJ Watt, but there were some other ones as well. This one from Deontay Rose, will we have TJ playing Sunday afternoon? We answered that part. And will the offensive line protect Ben against the Bills' pressure defense? Charlie, quarterback talk, this one's for you.
Well, I think when you look at, what's going on with this Bills defense, I think this is going to be tough. And I think the Steelers up front, they have to get it going. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do working together from a communication standpoint, because this is a front that quite frankly has not worked together as much as what they needed to heading into week 1. So I'm going to be following this, see what that looks like up front, and if it can entail and keep Ben upright, that's going to be something that's going to benefit the Steelers in this situation.
All right, let's get to one more fan question before we have to take a quick break. This one about the tight end position. Matt, we saw the official depth chart released today, or on Tuesday, excuse me. Pat Freiermuth or Eric Ebron. William wants to know, when will Pat take over at tight end 1?
That's on him, in my opinion. I mean, I think in this new offense, you're going to see both those guys out there together quite a bit, and they both create a lot of matchup problems as receivers. I think you'll also see plenty of snaps with one or the other out there. But when I say it's on Pat, I think there's a misnomer that he's an already accomplished blocker. He's a work in progress there. And if he can take his blocking 2 steps forward, well, he's going to be hard to keep off the football field.
All right, guys, we are going to talk about both teams' running games coming up a little bit later in our show. But first, I want to give you a look at our Week 1 opening lines across the league, presented by Unibet Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you're in Pennsylvania and are ready to place your wagers on any of this weekend's matchups, download the Unibet PA app or visit pa.unibet.com. Again, stay with us. We'll be right back here on the Matchup Show.
Nobody cares, it's NFL. Nobody cares if you're a rookie. Nobody cares if you've been playing for 30 years, right? It's all one and the same. You got to go out there and do your job. So that's just kind of, how us, and I know a lot of the other young guys look at it too.
Rookie center Kendrick Green, a possibility of 4 rookies starting on offense for the Steelers Sunday in Buffalo. And don't forget about Presley Harvin III making the 53-man roster over Jordan Berry. Don't hear that too often in terms of the Steelers starting that many rookies. Let's look at the tail of the tape between the Steelers and the Bills from the 2021 season. Of course, you see the records there. The Bills advancing to the AFC Championship game. They are returning 21 of 22 starters. And when we talk about the run game, guys, with the Steelers, we know the Pittsburgh finished dead last. No one's happy about it. That's why you go with the 24th overall pick in the draft to go with Najee Harris, trying to improve the O-line and everything around the run game. But the Bills not up high, 20th. I won't say the bottom half, but they are not sitting pretty there as well. In terms of Josh Allen, Labs, we'll start with you. Do you feel like that is something the Bills are working to improve as they head into this new 2021 season?
Well, I think with the Bills specifically, their running game needs to be viewed and prepared for in a different way than you would prepare for a normal running game, simply because of their quarterback. A lot of Josh Allen's ability to create either when things break down, and that, I won't say they use him a lot on designed runs, but there are going to be plays where Josh Allen is going to have his eyes looking at the front of the defense, and if he sees an opening, he'll take advantage of it, use his legs either on a converted third down, maybe to set up a manageable third down. And so the Bills rushing game, I don't know that it has to be what you would statistically ranked in the top 10 or 12 or whatever might be associated with a contending team. But if the Bills are able, or let me say this, if each opponent playing the Bills is unable to contain Josh Allen, their running game can definitely be good enough.
Matt, what do you see from Josh Allen heading into this year, knowing he signed that monster contract? The fact that, as Lab said, he has 25 career rushing touchdowns, only the second quarterback to do that in their first 3 seasons in NFL history. What more can he show us that we haven't already seen?
He's amazing. I mean, he really is. With all respect to Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, the elite in the league right now, I think Allen is actually the most talented quarterback in the league. Labs mentioned his running. He reminds me of Cam Newton as a runner, a big physical guy. I'm sure when you guys see him in person, you'll say, wow, he's a bigger, stronger guy than I even thought, and especially the way he throws the football. What's amazing about him is the massive leaps he has taken every year since he's come into the league. I mean, completion percentage, decision making, the difficulty of throws he makes. I mean, if he even just levels out at where he was this past year, he's still an elite player, and history shows he's only getting better, which is frightening. Two things he needs to work on a little bit still: his ball security. He's a fumbler, and he's proven that year after year, and part of it's because of the way he plays. And he doesn't deal with pressure quite as well. I mean, if you watch the first half against the Steelers last year and they were getting after him, he got a little rattled.
Charlie, we've talked a lot about the flux that is the Steelers' offensive unit. We're talking about Josh Allen, so I want to flip over to the Steelers' defense, returning a number of starters there. You hope Devin Bush is at 100%. You add in Joe Schobert. What do these guys have to prove on Sunday, knowing what they're going up against week one?
Yeah, defensive coordinator Keith Butler, he's going to have this team ready to go, and he is phenomenal against the run. And I think when you look back just up front, the caveat to this is going to be Josh Allen's running ability. And that takes away from your pass rush, because now you have to eye and maybe have a spy on Josh Allen. Who is that spy going to be? And then that takes away from the pass rush. So it's going to be interesting to see how they particularly do that. But when you respect that guy's running ability, it definitely changed the manner of how you're going to approach it. So can you now rush the quarterback as you're defending the run? You know, so it's going to be interesting to see how those guys do it. But they face multi-talented running quarterbacks before, and I think Cam Hayward will have those guys ready up front.
As we said, Tyson Alualu also dealing with an injury this week, along with Alex Highsmith in terms of the Steelers' defense. Charlie, just a follow-up for you. Is this game going to be more about the Steelers' defense stopping Josh Allen, or the Steelers' offense kind of getting it together and seeing what this new Matt Canada offense is all about?
I think the pressure is going to be on the Steelers offense, because they have to find a way of keeping this defense off the field. Because with that comes, you have to be able to possess the football, running the football, controlling the line of scrimmage. And right now, there are a lot of questions, quite frankly, only because this unit, you mentioned earlier in the show, they finished 32nd. They have to prove that they can consistently do it at this point. So the Bills defense will now look for that and say, hey, okay, prove it. Let's see what you have. And they're going to have to set that tone early in the game.
All right, we're going to take one last break here on the Matchup Show presented by Unibet. When we return, I'll ask the guys, what are they looking most forward to seeing on Sunday in Buffalo? We'll do that when we return. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone, to the Matchup Show presented by Unibet. Let's get to it, guys. Sunday is getting closer and closer. I want to know, what are you looking most forward to seeing in Buffalo? Labs, we'll start with you.
Najee Harris. I mean, I've been looking forward to seeing this guy since his name was announced at the podium during the 2021 NFL draft. I mean, you know, we've all kicked around some of the things that we're looking, or how we're breaking down this matchup on Sunday. And it seems to me that a component that all of us are talking about is either the Steelers' offensive line's ability to protect the quarterback and or the Steelers' ability to run the football. And I think that while a lot of that you can point to the offensive line, I think that this time when the Steelers try to run the ball against the Buffalo Bills are going to be going against the varsity running back. I mean, this guy is for real. He can get more than what the blocking might dictate. And so I do think that the Steelers, they have to show not only the ability to run the football, but the willingness to continue to try it. It cannot get to where it was last year. You know, I think the Steelers rushed for 45 yards or something in that game last year, and it just got to a point where I won't say they gave up, but they quit trying because it wasn't successful. And so that cannot happen Sunday against the Bills. They have to make them respect the fact that they will run the football. And, you know, if Najee breaks one or two, you know, and I'm not talking about 88-yard run or anything, you know, just some of those 12 to 15-yard gains sometimes can put a defense on its heels a little bit, and then maybe open things up for the passing game and take a little pressure off that offensive line in terms of protecting Ben Roethlisberger.
All right, Matt, who are you looking most forward to seeing on Sunday?
I'm really looking forward to seeing Matt Canada's offense fully implemented. You know, teams around the league don't show you much in the preseason. And we've seen some glimpses in the preseason of the motions and Ben operating behind center. But I think it's just a taste. I think you're going to see a lot of unusual looks, unbalanced lines, different motions than we've seen here, and lots of them. And I really think that can help, the offensive line as they progress. And I think it'll help Ben a lot as well.
All right, Charlie, so far the guys are sticking with offense. Who are you going with for most excited to see on Sunday?
Well, I'm sticking on the offensive side of the ball as well, focusing on offensive line, mainly Dan Moore. And he has to get to that point of, protecting the quarterback. And last year, yes, they used a short passing game because with the inability to run the football. But right now, you expect them to be able to run the football. But what does that look like in anticipating throwing the football down the field? That matchup right there, Dan Moore has to focus and keep Ben Roethlisberger clean. If he's able to do that, then we'll be able to see Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay Johnson, those guys working down the field in the manner that we all hope that they can do. So that's going to be my focal point this week.
All right, guys, before we say goodbye, it is time now to tell you about Pick and Win, presented by Unibet. And each week, participants can answer a variety of trivia and predictive questions for points. The person with the most points at the end of each week will win a prize. The grand prize at the end of the season, a trip to the Pro Bowl in Las Vegas to the top points getter. It's free and easy to play. Download the Steelers official mobile app, create a fan profile, and find the Pick and Win banner under the Fan Zone section. That is going to do it for today's matchup show. Steelers and Bills in Buffalo, a 1 o'clock kick to Labs. Matt and Charlie, thanks for joining me, guys. We'll see you guys later.
What's up, Steeler Nation? It's your boy Juju Smith-Schuster here. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like and comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to the Steelers official YouTube channel. Thanks again. Here we go, Steelers.